Hello and welcome to Sestra-Tainment.
Sestra-Tainment.
I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to everything entertainment.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. So, sis, you're up first this week. So, what you got?
Yeah, so for what I have, my first show is called XO Kitty. It is on Netflix. Now, this is actually a spinoff of To All the Boys I've Loved that was on Netflix. I think I've talked about that before as well.
Yeah, I think you did.
So it's instead of it being Laura Jean, the main character, it's actually about her little sister.
Oh,
and there's her little sister that's falling in love and everything.
Yeah,
So
I think I saw the trailer on this.
yeah. Now the cast, if people don't know, if you haven't seen I would say watch the first one, the To All the Boys I've Loved, before watching the XO Kitty.
Okay.
But so the cast is, you have Anna Cuthbert, who is Kitty. She's the main character. And then everybody else, I'm going to butcher their name. So bear with me. All right, we have Myung Choi is Day. You have Jia Kim, who is Yuri. Now you do have the regular characters of the father, who is, oh my God, what is his name? I can't think of his name to save my life. Oh, John Cobert.
Okay.
John Cobert. He plays Dan Covey, who is the father of Kitty, Laura Jean, and Margot. And then his girlfriend, I guess fiance, is Sariu Blue, who plays Trina. Now, so, with this show, it's really cute. I like it. It's a really cute movie. But, so, now from the spinoff of To All the Boys I've Loved, so it's Kitty, and she thinks that she knows everything about love because of the fact that her sister already went through all this stuff with, I think it was maybe 2 or 3, I think it was 3 seasons of To All the Boys I Love. So she's the little sister seeing all this stuff happen with her sister, and like they're talking to each other. So now Kitty thinks she knows everything about love. So get this. So Kitty's mother passed away when she was younger. She never really knew her mother. Like, she was a baby. So, her mom moved to Korea, her junior year of high school, to go and be in this, it is like a program called KISS. It's the Korean Institute of something. I can't remember exactly what it is. But, and that's what her mom did. So she went through some of her mom's stuff and found some pictures, and she was like, oh my God, I want to apply for this. She gets in. She's like telling her dad and her dad's fiance, hey, yo, letting you know, I'm going to Korea. Like, I don't care. Like, Seoul is calling me.
Okay. My soul.
Yeah, my soul is calling. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So basically from there, they're just like, all right, well, you're going to have to go. Like, it was just a once in a lifetime opportunity that you have. And it just happened to be that they call you a week before because somebody ended up getting kicked out of school or whatever. So she goes over there, but this is the thing. She has a little boyfriend, right? And her little boyfriend actually went to Seoul to go to this school.
Oh, okay.
So he's already at the school.
Okay, got it.
And now she's going to surprise him. She don't tell him she's coming. She just wants to go up to him, tap him on the shoulder while they're at their little orientation. And then she said, then we'll share our first kiss. Now, as soon as she gets to Seoul, what ends up happening is she is having a very hard time getting around. She's like, she had too much fun in the airport. She was buying stuff and everything, comes out, boom, she missed her bus. I missed the bus. Remember Chris calls? So from there, then she had to figure out which way to go. She had the transit map that looks like the transit map for like DC. It's like stuff everywhere. And she was just like, okay, I'm determined to do this. So you see her lugging like her suitcase and everything up the steps, like through the subway and everything. And it's really cute. But then she forgets that when you're in another country, you have to look the opposite way before walking into traffic.
Right, yeah.
Yes, gets hit by a car.
Okay.
And now the person who hits her is now become her friend. So she now has some really cool friends that she's getting to know. And the girl who hits her absolutely happens to be going to the same school.
To kiss.
She was like, hey, can you give me a ride to school? She was like, yeah. She was like, where are you going? I'm going to Kiss. She was like, get out of here. I'm going to Kiss too. So, and there's like little stories in between like these stories, like the main story with Kitty. There are other stories with some of the other characters that are not as prominent, but I mean, they're still there. So, with her having this hard time and everything, she's having a hard time with just some people were like, oh, you're a foreigner. Like, you peasant, get away from me, you American. And then some of them are just like, hey, hey, it's nice to meet you. Like, what do you do? Like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then, that's the people that she talks to about her mom and everything. And then she gets some more information about her mom. And now she's going through this little rabbit hole of trying to figure out more information about her mom. And, like, this picture is her mom had a picture of her mom holding hands with the dude, but you can't see his face because he's behind a Japanese cherry blossom tree. So she's like, ooh, who's this guy? So she does a deep dive into that, goes into this. So now she's like, I guess she's just doing investigations, and she has some friends helping her as well. Now, with her idea of going to go see her boyfriend and surprise him, he surprises her.
That's how it usually works out.
Yeah, he surprises her. I'm not going to say it's in a bad way. I'm not going to say it's in a good way, but she's like, huh.
Who knew?
Okay. Yeah. But so... once she starts to get there, she starts to find herself, and then she's realizing, like, she's becoming her own individual person and not being like the child anymore. So she's now going and falling in love with different people, like different students at the school she's falling in love with. And she's just like, do I feel some type of way about them? I think I do. Well, maybe I don't. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm just in a foreign land. So she's all over the place, but it's super cute how she does it, because she's so wholesome that you're just like, oh, this precious little angel.
Yeah.
This precious thing. But she realized, like, the boys in Seoul are different than the boys in the US, because they're more like, they are more, I guess, well-rounded. They're nicer. They go out of their way to do things. They think about your feelings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. So she's just kind of like, huh, what's going on with this? Yeah. And then some of them are, like, aggressive, and then some of them are, like, still kind of passive-aggressive, whatever. So she's kind of like, oh, this is kind of weird. This is different for me. Right. So I do like it. It's a cute show. The end of it is cute, and it can lead it to being another season of it. So whoever wrote this whole... what is it? To All the Boys I've Loved and this XO Kitty, they're making money, because it's really cute how they're doing it.
Okay. And is that a show or a movie?
It's a show.
A show.
It's
okay.
a show. Yeah.
Multiple episodes. Got
it. I think it's 8 episodes, I believe.
Okay.
Let me double check and see. But I believe it is 8 episodes. And I just think it's super cute. Oh, it's 10 episodes.
10 episodes on Netflix.
On Netflix, yeah. XO Kitty. All right, what you got?
All right. So I actually have... Still, a Michael J. Fox movie, and it's on Apple TV. And so I ended up watching this because, growing up, I mean, who didn't know Alex P. Keaton, or even the character that he played, and I can't even talk about Back to the Future and all that kind of stuff. So the story starts off with Marty McFly, right? Exactly. So the story starts off like right out the gate with him. Like, they're showing him, like, in his bed that he woke up. He said it was sometime in 1990.
Oh, wow.
He was in Florida. He had been on this drinking binge. And he said that when he woke up, he felt his pinky twitching. And he was just like, huh, that's weird. Like, what is going on? Like, why is my hand, like, I can't really control it. What's happening? And he couldn't figure out why that was happening. And so... he kind of reverts back to that particular moment periodically throughout the documentary, because it is written as a documentary. They're sitting there with him on camera telling his story. And so he also talks a lot about all the people that he binge drink with. He was like, maybe me and Woody Harrelson. And he just hit me in the face. And then I just didn't remember X, Y, and Z. And this happened and that happened. All these different kind of stories that he tells. But basically, he said he couldn't really figure out why that was going on. But, he gets up, does whatever he does, because I think he was like in his late 20s, early 30s, something like that, when this particular thing happened. So the show kind of goes on to present day, and him working with a physical therapist, really just trying to walk with his Parkinson's disease as it is today. And the reason that this show is called Still is because he said when he was little, he never stayed still.
Oh, okay.
He said it's just the irony of how now he would love to have stillness, but at the same time, when he was younger, he said that they showed this little story of a 2-year-old version of him, or maybe it was 3 or something like that. But anyway, running through the house, running through the house, running through the house, running through the house. Then ran out the back door, ran to the grocery store, and then the little corner store or whatever. And then the guy at the corner store is like calling the house, like, I think your son is here. And his mom's looking around the house like, what? Like, where is he? No, he should be here. And they were like,
No,
he was like, well, he's got some candy he wants to buy. And she was like, okay, go ahead and give it to him. I'll send his father up there to give you the cash. And he was like, oh, no, he's got plenty of cash. And the little kid's hand goes up and it's like, pull the money out of somebody's wallet, you know. And then he ran on back home and ran across streets and ran, you know, like he was just this kid. He was always busy and never still. And so he said that, so as he's working with his physical therapist, almost every time they show him working with his physical therapist throughout the documentary, the therapist is like, slow down. You're trying to go too fast. Because what he does is he's trying to walk, but he's trying to walk at the pace that he used to be able to walk. And his therapist is trying to say, you can't do that. You have to slow down. So they show him going out his front door, walking down his sidewalk. People recognize it's him. So they're like, hello, Mr. Fox. Like one lady just says that to him. And when he turns to go speak to her because she was passing him, he fell.
Oh, man.
And so because he was trying to walk and turn at the same time and it was too much, so he fell on the sidewalk and she's helping him up. The physical therapist is helping him up. And he was like, you just knocked me off my feet. Oh. You know, so he's always got something positive and uplifting and light to say with everything that he's going through. That's like good. You don't see him. He said, if my family treated me like I had a terminal disease, that would be the worst thing for me. Yeah. Like, I need you to not care that I can't get up and, you know, scramble my own eggs or, you know, tell me to do it anyway. Like, he's like, I need the tough love. Like, that's what keeps me going and keeps me pushing. And so basically, you know, he tells really his backstory, how he got to Hollywood. He said he was the runt of his class, like the shortest person in his class, in every single class. Like girls were taller, everybody was taller than him. And so he said that he found this drama club that he really enjoyed. And he was like, this might be my niche. So he went to his father and was like, Dad, I got to go to Hollywood. Like, I just got to. Like, I think he got some little local like thing that he could do from where he grew up. I forgot where he grew up. But anyway, he got something there. I think it was Midwest. And so he was like, yeah, I'm on this little show, but I could really blow up if I go like, this is what I want. And his father was like a really tough dad. Yeah. Like not a theater dad, put it that way. Okay. And so he said he went to his dad and said, look, this is what I need to do. This is what I have to do. This is my passion. I think he may have been 15, 16. And they were like, so let's get this straight. You want to drop out of school and go to Hollywood. That's what you want to do. And how confident are you that you can make this work? And he said he was 100% confident. He knew if he dropped out of school and went, he would do it. And him and his father got in a car and they went to Hollywood. Wow. And his father...
Big ups to his dad for doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Because he was shocked.
Parents don't always do that, yeah.
He sounds like he was shocked that his father would do that because that was not his father. Like, his father was a tough guy, you know, and just wouldn't do that. But his father, picked up and took him. And he ended up having like a 1-bedroom studio place out there. Ended up getting a job. And was doing work commercials, just different things. Like he was doing McDonald's commercials, for example. And he said he had like all this unlimited McDonald's that was like, just coming to him and things like that. And so he said he auditioned for Family Ties and he said all the odds were against him. He said the network president, like the top dog at NBC, was just like the last person I want in this role of Alex P. Keaton, or Alex Keaton. That's what his name. Alex Keaton was Michael J. Fox, like, period, point blank. Don't want it. All of the other people, they were just like, I don't think he has it. I just don't think, like, he isn't embodying it. Yeah. But something happened in which he wasn't, so whoever it was that they were thinking that they could potentially put in there, whatever didn't work out, he ended up getting the pilot. Okay. So he goes on there and he said he was the one that came up with Alex P. Keaton. Like, Alex P. Keaton speaking, because I guess he had his middle name Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's Alex smart. P. Keaton. Yeah, yeah. And he said as soon as he said it, he just heard the room erupt with everybody laughing. And he was like, that was his drug. Like, me hearing people laugh, that was everything. Okay. So he ended up doing it, and lo and behold, the parents were supposed to be the stars of the show, but he ended up becoming the star of the show. And even the network president was like, basically saying that, well, Michael J. Fox is never going to end up on a lunchbox. So, like, I don't even know why we're having this conversation, basically. And then the network president comes back. And it's funny because I guess so much of his life was documented that you have this documentary pulling clips of things that happened behind the scenes on Family Ties, or with this network executive saying, yeah, it wasn't supposed to be him. And then he comes back and says, but guess what happened? later on, when he's the biggest person in the world and everybody knows him and women are chasing him down the street, he sends me a mailbox. I mean, a lunchbox
with his face on it.
I
love it.
Saying that from from Michael J. Fox or whatever. So, but he was just saying that he always had things against him, and so he became famous. A lot going on, a lot of people, a lot of pressure. He was just like, oh my gosh, I'm this scrawny runt of a kid from like the Midwest to then come to Hollywood and be like, everybody wants me. So then he said Teen Wolf came up. So he was like, all right, let me do this basically B movie, not realizing it would become like a cult favorite. Mm-hmm. And then he said that the network wouldn't let him actually go in order to do Back to the Future. He had to do both jobs at once. Oh. So he said that they brought him the script and said, hey, this is going to be a great thing for you to do. They really want you. The guy that they originally had, I don't know if everybody even knows that, but they originally had a different guy. And he didn't work out. They had to redo all the scenes with that guy and put Michael J. Fox in there. And so he said that it was literally, I wake up, I go to do Family Ties. I get off work. I sleep in the car to go over to do the set of Back to the Future. I do that. I sleep in the car to get back to my house to take my shower to do that. Like he was just like, it was just for 3 straight months. It was learning scripts and going from one thing to the other. So he said it was really tough. But then after that movie came out, then he was even more of a global phenomenon and it was just a lot,
Yeah, that's life-changing.
Exactly. He said he was having 2 to 3 hours of sleep at the max for multiple months. And so he covers things like his father's death, him meeting his wife, Tracy, how they fell in love because, she ended up being on Family Ties and that's how they met. And he said that she just wasn't impressed with him. She was just like, okay, and. Yeah. And then he talks about how they had their first child, their twins they had, which I didn't realize he had twins. He talked about how basically, a lot of things kind of happened with his Parkinson's where he tried to hide it. And then they showed all these clips of all these shows that he was in and of him always having something in his left hand because that was the hand that shook. So he would have a magazine, a briefcase, a coffee cup, a this, a that. And he was doing it on his own. I don't even know if basically was saying nobody around him even knew, other than Tracy was the only one that really knew that he had it. So he was really trying to figure out, how do I go about making sure that people don't realize my illness? And then finally he came out and said, what he had. And it was a shock to everybody that somebody so young could have Parkinson's. But it was a really good documentary. I do recommend it for anybody who has Apple Plus, and check it out. It is called Still, a Michael J. Fox movie.
Hey, all right. I like that. Yeah, I will have to definitely check that out.
All right.
Sounds good. All right, so my next one is actually Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh, had that come out? I didn't even know that.
It's in movie theaters. I went to go see it Friday.
Oh, in a movie theater.
Mm-hmm. So, this is a very sad movie.
Is it?
I wanted to cry.
Oh no! What,
it was emotional. One? No. It's just it's emotional.
But it is the last.
Guardians. I think it is the last Guardians. I believe. Mm-hmm. I believe it is.
I think it's his last standalone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yes. Yeah, it was sad. It was sad. I was very tearful throughout it, but anyway, so I digress.
So the storyline was sad.
Yeah. So it's the story of Rocket, and you get to know everything about Rocket, how he became himself. Mm-hmm. So even all the testing on the animal testing, everything. Oh, yeah. If you are a member of PETA, don't watch this movie.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Because it's horrible. Oh my God, they're like making these animals super smart, and then they're incinerating them. It's so
then
sad.
They know. So now you know that they feel it. They know what's going on and what's getting ready to happen to them.
Exactly. Oh my God. Yeah, it's very sad. But I could just go over the cast in case anybody doesn't know. You've been living under a rock. So Chris Pratt plays Peter Quill, or Star-Lord is his name. So then we have the protagonist, who is, I'm going to see if I can get this out, Chukwudi Iwuji. And he plays the High Evolutionary.
Is that the antagonist?
Oh, yeah, antagonist.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, antagonist. Yeah. So he plays the High Revolutionary, who is the one who's actually doing all this testing on these animals. Okay. You still got Bradley Cooper as Rocket. You have Palm. Oh my God, Clementieff as Mantis. Dave Bautista as Drax. Karen Gillian, Nebula. Vin Diesel, Groot.
Groot.
Yeah,
I
am Groot. Yes. So like you still have all the same people from before. You are definitely gonna love the Cosmo characters. Little dog Cosmo, cutest thing ever. Like so. Kraglin says to Cosmo, because Cosmo is a dog with a spacesuit on.
Okay.
So he says to Cosmo, "You're a bad dog." And she's like, "You better take that back." "No, don't say that. No, I'm a good dog. No, take that back." So the whole movie, she's saying, "Can you please go ahead and take it back that I'm a bad dog?" It's like, I'm a good dog. So they're so cute. But so it, like I told you, it is a story of Rocket and how he became himself. He never knew he was a raccoon. Everybody knows that. He never knew he was a raccoon. Yeah. But then he reads the crate that says raccoon. So he's like, oh yeah. So he changes his name to, Rocket, Raccoon, something. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, he gives himself a middle name, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
His middle name is Raccoon. So Gamora does come into this, but she is not a big member in it because, the whole issue with them now losing her, and she's with all of the whatever they are called, like the little pirates that are out there. So she's with Sylvester Stallone and his crew. But she does come like help them out with some stuff. And Star-Lord is the whole time he's just like, like you don't know, you don't remember me, but we were in love, we were things. He was like, so I think deep down inside maybe. She said, no, it's not gonna happen. And she just turns around and walks away. Yeah. It's so funny. So the High Revolutionary, he actually builds this planet called Counter Earth.
Okay.
And what he's doing is he's trying to make, he's been making animals that have human personalities and animals who can be, I guess, like Rocket, but full size. They're actually like the size of humans.
Oh, okay.
But like the face of an animal. So he's building this whole community with this on Counter Earth. Now, what happens is everybody on this community, like when you look at Counter Earth, like Quill was like, oh my God, like this looks just like home. Because when you look at it, it looks exactly like Earth. When you're coming up to it, like when they come up to it, they go, I guess, through the wormhole or whatever. When they come up to it, it's like, it looks like Earth. And it's kind of weird because it's supposed to be in a whole nother galaxy or whatever. Right. Yeah. So they get down there and they try to figure out what's going on. They had to do some other stuff for Rocket, basically. Now, I would tell you this, Nebula I think she's a big main character in this one. She was doing a lot of stuff in this, which was surprising to me because usually I don't remember Nebula having. She exactly. I feel like it was always Peter Quill. Bautista always had something stupid or funny to say, and then maybe Mantis saying some stuff, and Rocket. I mean, Nebula was not really anybody who really talked much. And they do talk, they do hit on the Nebula and Gamora being sisters thing. So that is a thing. So that when they first see each other, they just kind of grunt at each other like, and another one goes, and then that's not kind of like, hey, what's up? You good? That's their grunt. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Now I'm trying to figure out if Rocket and Nebula have a thing. Because the whole time when they were trying to get to Rocket, they were like, she was like, when she heard his voice, she was like, and she was crying. I'm like, Nebula don't have no feelings. Isn't she an android? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she was smitten. And then when he was like, where's Nebula? That was the first thing that he said. So I'm like, yeah, they got a thing going on. Interesting. Him and Mrs. Jones got a thing going on. Okay. The main character, he has a statue. So like the main antagonist, the High Revolutionary, he has a statue on like a Ellis Island looking area. That's supposed to be like the Statue of Liberty, but it's him holding like a stone or something like that and a monkey. And it's like the size of the Statue of Liberty that he has on Counter Earth. So as you fly in,
That's your freedom.
That's what you get. I don't know.
Your symbol of freedom, Statue of Liberty, and a man
holding a monkey. Yeah, because I guess you combine man and monkey and you make Counter Earth.
Because that's what he's trying to
that's what he's trying to do. Exactly. But I think it's funny. So now I want to tell you this. I don't know if people remember from it was another Guardians of the Galaxy where they went and they stole a battery and they had to go to where the people were in all gold. Who's the lady who plays Princess Di? God, I can't think of her name. Hold on, let me find her.
I can't think of
here
her
she
name
goes.
either.
Elizabeth Debrecki.
Yeah, because she's got that long neck.
Yes. So she plays Aisha. So she plays Aisha. Now, she is the woman that's in all gold that looks all crazy. Yeah. And then she has like a protege, which I can't tell. I thought he said mom, but I was like, but they look the same age, so that can't be his mom. But I don't know. But it's actually Will Poulter. So if anybody's ever seen, he's been in a lot of stuff. But he was in Meet the Millers. We Are the Millers, and he was like the son in that. But yeah, so he plays Adam Warlock, and his character, it actually starts off the whole that's like you think that he's going to be the bad guy the entire time. Now, when he shows up, he looks like he could be Vision. Because he has a stone in his head, and he's all gold. So I was like, is Vision?
A version of Vision?
Yeah, is there a community of Visions out here? But then I come to find out that he is with Aisha, so then that changes it up. But you would think that at first that he is the main bad guy, the main antagonist of the whole thing, but he's not. So, I mean, it's like, they always have the movies where it's like you fight the main character, but it's always somebody who comes on the side. It's like, look, I don't have time for this, but like, I'll beat you up right now, and then you just go away. So that's basically how he was. But yeah, it's so weird how he looked like Vision when I saw him. I was like, yo, well, you got the stone in your head and stuff like that. It was kind of weird. Now, they had this little animal that was on there called a blurp. It's so cute. And I know I've seen it on something else. I don't remember what I've seen blurp on. But I was trying to look it up and see where I've seen it on before. It has to be another movie. I don't know if it's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or if it was in something else. Maybe Disney has, but I've seen Blurt before.
Okay.
Anyway, but the costumes. So one part of it, the costumes remind me of The Fifth Element.
Oh.
It was like they're like bubbles, but like they look like big earthworms or something like that. But it's just like the uniforms that these like guards are supposed to be wearing. I'm kind of like, this is giving me Fifth Element vibes here. Like I'm really thinking about Corbin, my man.
Corbin,
my man. Yeah. So, but in the end, it does really end up being cute. It is long though.
Long movie.
It is long. Very, very long.
I wonder.
It's 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Gotcha.
So it is long. And I feel like it's a lot of ups and downs. So it's like, oh my God, okay, this is awesome. And it's like, oh my God, this is so sad. So you have a lot of peaks and valleys when it comes to emotions with this. But in the end, I still do think that it was a great movie.
Okay.
And to check it out, especially if pretty sure a lot of people have already checked it out. I think it made like $20 million like on the opening day or something like that.
Oh yeah, I can see it making a lot because people have been waiting on it for a while.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think it made like $20 billion. But anyway, check it out. Guardians of the Galaxy, check it out in theater near you.
Okay, got it.
All right, what you got next?
So I have on Paramount Plus Rabbit Hole with Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh, Rabbit Hole.
Yeah, so I ended up binging this from start to finish in about 2 days.
Oh, wow.
It was really good and weird. Like, not weird. It took you down a lot of different quote unquote rabbit holes.
Okay.
And you think, oh, it's this. No. Oh yeah, it's over here. Nope. Okay, it's nope. This nope.
Okay.
So it's very like missing.
Okay.
You know how we talked about last week.
Yeah.
It was like
so you never know what direction you're going to go into.
It feels like you go in one direction and it can switch on you at any moment, and that's kind of how Rabbit Hole was. But let me go through some of the cast members. So we had Kiefer Sutherland. He plays John Weir. Charles Dance plays his father, Ben Wilson, Dr. Bill Wilson, Ben Wilson. You have the FBI agent who's pretty much like after Kiefer Sutherland's character, Enid. Enid Graham plays the character, and her name is Josephine Feinstein, I think. Okay. You have one of his best friends, Miles Valance, who is played by Jason Butler Harner. So when you look up these names, you'll recognize if you Google who the cast is. You're like, oh yeah, I recognize some of these people. And then you have Robert Yang, who plays Edward Home. Those are kind of the main people that we'll talk about today. And so... let me see. Oh, and you have to talk about Meta Golding, who is Haley Winton. So basically, it starts off with Kiefer Sutherland. So he is John Weir. I'll say his official name, but he's actually at this. He's a person who, when he's walking down the street or he's in a car, everybody's following him. Everybody's looking for him. Like he's extremely paranoid. Okay. And it is a condition. Like, it's not that he has any reason to necessarily be as paranoid as he is, but he has a condition. He's always tapping his finger. He's always anxious. It's just something that's going on with him in regards to that. Now, sometimes people are following him, but for the most part, he's just a little over the top. Okay. And so he, goes into a confessional. He's talking to a priest. He's cursing in there. Like, it's a thing. And you're just like, okay, dude, like, calm it down. Like, it's all good. And then it's kind of like starting with a story, then it backs up and really gets into the story kind of scenario. But one of the things that happens, and this is like in the first episode, it's a show, so it's multiple episodes. But one of the things that happens is that he's sitting at a bar looking at a movie, or looking at a game. And then you have all these business types and, Wall Streety kind of people who are in this bar. And you have them talking about this guy who's older with this really young, maybe woman of the night. Okay. And they're like, that's not his wife, and just cutting jokes and stuff. So one of the Wall Street types walks up to the bar and is like, hey, dude, we need to see the stock prices. Like, we can't be watching this game. Like, can we turn the channel? And he's like, no. We're going to keep it right here. And he was like, dude, like, seriously, like, can I change the channel? I really need to see what's going on with my numbers. We always have the stock ticker on when we're here. And so the bartender is like, he was here first. So if he is wanting to watch this game, and he's like, this is my team. Like, I'm wanting to watch my game. So the guy starts pitching a fit, and so finally... Kiefer's, John Weir is just like, all right, yep, go ahead, turn. So it turns and it shows something in Tokyo that's going on with a particular stock. Well, this guy goes off and he's just like, oh my God, like, what is going on? Like, I need to get on the phone and make a call and sell my stock, because what's happening in Tokyo is getting ready to impact what's going to happen here in the United States when opening bell hits. So he goes off and you kind of, are just like, okay, what's happening, right? So a few minutes later, Miss Feinstein, the FBI agent, comes up to John and is like, so how is it that this guy sold off all his stock based on what was going on in Tokyo, but nothing was going on in Tokyo? How is it that this actually took place, like that you are impacting America's stock based on the fact that what did you do to make this guy think that something was going on in Tokyo? And he was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea. So what you come to find out is that John Weir's character is somebody that huge corporations pay to manipulate things behind the scenes. Oh. So what he did is basically slid money over to the bartender to put a tape in of a fake story so that guy could come over, want to change the channel. He be negative about it, act like he doesn't want to change it, but he really does want to change it, changes it, has this guy see it, and now the company that pays him has this competitor out of the picture now because of the fact that this person sold off all his stock.
That is wild. That is smart.
Manipulative, for sure.
But that is smart.
Yeah. So that's the kind, this is all first episode, So this is the kind of stuff that is kind of what he and his team get hired to do.
And gets you hooked.
Exactly. And it just becomes a rabbit hole from there. So, it's basically, he's doing all of these things. People may or may not know about him doing these things, so they may or may not be trying to come after him for that. After he does this, oh, by the way, with the guy in the bar, a pretty woman is at the other end of the bar and sees what all happened in regards to just the interaction between the two of them. And she was like, oh, gosh, I mean, did he have to see his stock that bad? They just strike up a conversation. Well, one thing leads to another. he ends up going to her hotel room, and then after he sleeps with her, he's looking through everything. Like, she's asleep. He's looking in lampshades. He's looking in the clock. He's looking in whatever. And he was like, tell Feinstein she has to do better than this to have a pretty lady sleep with me and then want to bug the room and try to use something to kind of do whatever, because he's paranoid all the time. Yeah. And the girl is like, what are you talking about?
Oh, so
I have
he woke her
no
up.
idea. Well, making all that noise, you know, because he's just like, he wasn't trying to be quiet. Even he's like looking in this, going over here, doing that. And she was like, what are you doing? And he was just like, look, just tell her that. And she was like, if you think I'm a spy or somebody, why did you sleep with me? He was like, have you looked at you? Like, of course I would sleep with you. Like, I would do that, but I still think that you're trying to get over on me. And so every time they bump into each other, he's not believing that she's anybody who is actually interested in him or anybody who is, you know, because she's also ticked off at him. Like, you called me basically a prostitute. Get out of my room. Like, just go. You know, like, I'm a woman for hire for whatever, you know, and I will sleep with you. And so she is just like totally ticked off about him, but they bump into each other on the street. They bump into, like,
of course, it's always a little meet cute.
Exactly. But then he starts following her because he's like, there's something up with her. So if I follow her, I'll find out who's paying her. Going on. So there's that kind of thing. So then you're like, okay, is she really interested in him? Is she really somebody who's a spy? He meets with his best friend. As soon as he meets with his best friend does something traumatic. And then he's just like, wait, what? Is he wait, what's happening here? Like, what's going on? Because they started a company together, and then his friend kind of wanted to go a different path than he wanted to go. And his best friend does some shady stuff, and then he takes a phone call, and then he just totally acts different after that. And even while they're talking to each other in the room, he's like, don't say that. And he like looks up at a camera. So you know somebody's manipulating something. And it's almost like how he manipulates situations. There's a bigger person who used to work with his father who is manipulating a lot of situations. And you might even come across people who have an earpiece in their ear. And they're being manipulated at that moment. The decisions that they're making at that moment is what the earpiece is telling them to do, or what the phone call tells them to do. So all of it is this weird rabbit hole of things that are going on. And I feel like, I mean, some people might listen to this and be like, oh, you spoiled the whole thing. No. I haven't spoiled.
Yeah, but so you only gave the first episode.
Oh my God. I mean, well, maybe a little bit more than the first episode, but even in that, there are so many layers and ways, like there's so much that's going on with this that it's a lot.
It's a lot of creases in there.
It's a lot of creases. And so it is really good. I personally enjoyed it. And it ends in a way that, of course, can lead to a second season. So, of course,
You know, I've never been a real big Kiefer Sutherland fan. I think it's something about his voice that I don't like.
Yeah, he has a different voice.
Yeah, but it's something about I don't like. I don't think I've watched anything that he's been in since.
I love Designated Survivor.
Lean on me? Was Stand By Me? Stand By
Me.
Oh,
Stand By Me. Yeah. Stand By Me. Oh, I love Stand By Me.
I know, I love Stand By Me too.
Oh, okay.
But no, I'm just saying that's probably the last time.
Like, I think he was in Lost Boys. Like, it's been so.
Yeah, but see, it was something about his voice I just don't like. It's kind of like Will Smith. His voice, I had something about it I just don't like, and it's like it's just annoying to me. It's like chalk on, like the fingernails on a chalkboard. Yeah. And it's weird because I'm like, what's up with me? Why?
But when you hear his voice, you know it's his voice.
I know
so
it's him,
that's probably part of it too. It's like it's so distinctive. I'm saying that when you hear it, you're like, oh, that's Kiefer Sutherland's voice. But so I don't know if you could watch this show or not. But I thought it was really good. A lot of different layers. And again, what you think may not be what the reality is. Oh, and I didn't even get into Ham's character, but he is an FBI agent researching a lot of things that were going on with all this manipulation. Yeah. He plays a part into all this as well. So it's all these different
all the things. There's so that's like the show that I was talking about last week, the City on Fire. Yeah, it's so many different things that are going on. You're just like, wait, how is this tie into this and this ties into this? But wait, isn't that the person? It's like, no, that's that person. Yeah, but see, I do like shows that like that that keep you guessing, keep you on your toes.
Keep you guessing and a little stressed, and you're just anxious because you're like, oh my God, are they going to be able to get away with? Oh, you're getting ready to do that. Oh, you got to get out of it. Oh, So it was pretty cool. So anyway, so that's it. Rabbit Hole, and that is on Paramount Plus.
All right. So what I want to talk about just really quickly is the fires in Canada.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So the fires in Canada have been super bad. So like I think it was on the 6th, I believe it was. No, was it the 6th? Yeah, the 6th. So on the 6th, what actually happened was it became like a state of emergency for visual and for breathing issues with the smoke plumes coming down from Canada and just wiping down the East Coast, like the whole northern East Coast. And us here in Virginia, like we could see it. I remember being outside like at work and being like, why does it look so smoky? And I'm driving a customer's car around town to do a test drive for it to make sure everything was good. And I was like, wait, is the customer's car just like really, are their windows that dirty? I put the window down. I'm like, oh no, it looks smoky out here. Someone on fire. I didn't know anything about Canada because, I'm not really big into watching the news. Yeah. So it's very depressing. But this is another depressing story, the fires in Canada. Yeah. So, with the state of emergency, it ended up being where in New York City, there was actually a lady who lived in Jersey City, which is actually right across from Manhattan. And she had a video and she was just like, this is how my view usually looks from Jersey City into Manhattan. Yeah. And then she showed another picture and I swear it looked like, what is that? What is that movie? Oh my God. Where like everything is all like brown and dusty and like
Mad Max.
Yes, Mad Max. That's what it looked
exactly
like.
What I thought of when I saw
it. It looked like Mad Max. Everything was like a orangish hue. She could like the building in front of her you could see, but you couldn't see the river. Yeah. You could not see the river at all. And she's like 2 buildings away from the river. Right. And that's how smoky it was. Yep.
I have, just as an FYI, I have been in Montclair, New Jersey, in a house where I could see across the river to downtown New York City. And it's far, but you can normally see it.
Yeah, you can see it. It's right there. Yeah. But so that with that, they were saying that they were telling people with the state of emergency, if you have asthma or anything, you cannot go outside. Yeah. Don't go outside. You're going to die.
Even.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to die, but you're going to get sick.
You might have an asthma attack at any moment, right?
Telling older people to stay inside. They were telling everybody to buy air purifiers and keep them in your house. Buy multiples to keep in your house. So and then that way it's not going to like put a whole bunch of smoke and everything into your lungs and I got smoke inhalation or anything like that. And I mean, it's so wild because then people in New York were like, all right, so we got to wear a mask. We're not supposed to go outside. Yeah. But we got to go to work.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So it was just like, so we're not supposed to go anywhere. But we got to go to work.
Some schools.
I know they closed. Yeah, they closed schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
And the other thing is like I was looking at something and they said normally the pollution in New York is like 30%. Yeah. 35%. Yeah. They said in this instance, with the worst day that New York had, I think it was 2 days that New York's pollution was worse than anywhere else in the entire world. In the air pollution. And it was over 350%. Pollution, like in the air that people were breathing. Like that's insane.
Yeah, that is really insane. Yeah. That is crazy. But so I just looked more into it, just trying to figure out. So it says that the fires stretch across Canada from eastern Nova Scotia all the way to northern Quebec and Ontario, and then also parts of Alberta and British Columbia. Yeah. So they said it's more than 400 individual fires, and it's so many that they couldn't like keep control of them. So like officials just like, there's nothing we can do.
And is it that the fires? Did they say how they started?
I didn't see anything about how it started. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
and was fires just breaking off from other fires that made it continue to spread so fast?
Exactly. Now, I do want to say that they said that the Canada's fire season is from May to October, but they said they've never had it this bad because usually I think it's 446 fires, and they said that usually around this time it might be like 200 fires. Wow. So,
and I've never even heard of fires in Canada. I mean, I've heard of them
happens all the time, but we don't hear about a lot of things that happen in other countries.
Yeah, but I guess I would think that it's because of the magnitude of
how big it was. Yeah, how many?
Why we're even having the impact.
Exactly,
of the
that is true.
Where and you know what? We wouldn't have had it pollute our air.
I mean, but I feel like if it didn't pollute our air, we still wouldn't know about it. We would not know about the fires. No, nobody would be talking about it. It would have been a blurb. I think it would have been a blurb on like CNN. Fires in Canada
but
today.
I mean, when you think about those Australian fires back in 2019, they talked about that forever.
Oh, yeah, forever. But that was actually, I think that was like the whole country was burning down. Like,
it was a lot.
It was a whole lot. Yeah. It was a whole lot.
So, I mean, we do hear about it, and sometimes it is consistent news. It just depends on how devastating it is.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like if they need our help, then they maybe
that's it. Because they did say that they sent over 600 troops up to help out with the
I saw
fire.
that.
And I don't know how many firefighters.
I saw some troops from Kenya. Not troops. I saw some EMTs and firefighters from Kenya actually went over there, and at the airport they were having a little party with some other people from different countries. So they had nice singing and dancing stuff like that. So I thought
coming
that was
together
really cool.
to help out.
That's good.
Yeah.
But they did say that 38% of Canada is forestry areas. So the wildfires do happen often, but they just don't spread as fast as this one does. So
Global warming.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that might be what it is. But yeah, so they were making sure that everybody stays indoors and everything down here. I don't think it's not bad down here now in Virginia. Now, as far as New York, I don't know how bad it is. It didn't look that bad when I was looking at them do the Puerto Rican Day Parade.
Okay.
I just watched that. It didn't look that bad when I was watching some videos of them doing that. But
And that was where?
in New York for Puerto Rican Day
Oh,
Parade.
okay. Yeah, the fog lifted there, I want to say on Thursday or
okay,
Friday.
yeah.
Yeah, they said that they were no longer going to be in that same kind of thing. And the same for Virginia. I feel like maybe Friday.
Yeah,
maybe it was Thursday for New York, Friday for Virginia,
Yeah.
where they said that, it should be starting to go away.
Yeah. So, just please keep your thoughts for the Canadians up there that are struggling,
Exactly. I haven't heard anything about damage to homes or anything like that, too. I don't know if it's mainly forest or if some homes and things like that are getting
But they
caught
did
up
say
in
that
it
it's
as
supposed to rain in the next couple of days, so they hope that will go ahead and wipe out the rest of the fires that are happening.
Okay.
So let's hope that that's
Got
a
it.
thing.
Yeah, hopefully so.
And you know what I was thinking about? So they said that there are things like where, I don't know how true this is, but they said that there are things that are put into clauses for like NATO. That is like you can't do anything that affects the weather.
Oh yeah, the geostorms and stuff like that people can create.
Yeah, so I don't understand why don't they do stuff like that when it comes to fires?
Like to create a storm?
Create a storm, so then that will put the fires up.
Because I think they feel like if you're not gonna, if you start using it for good, what's to stop somebody from using it for evil? Probably.
I mean, it's out there. People are going to use it for evil.
Yeah,
anyway, so,
that's true. It's a lot of people that don't even know that's a thing.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Well, we just messed that up for
I know.
people.
Now the government's going to come after us. No, I'm just joking.
Okay. Well, I know
Here
nothing.
comes the FBI.
I know
CIA.
nothing. I saw nothing. I heard nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
I plead the fifth. No, nothing. But that's all I had was just the fires in Canada. So everybody, sorrows, prayers for the Canadians. All right. All right. What you got last, sis?
So last, I have on Netflix a goofy, silly show that I watched that I don't even know how or why I watched it. It must have just come up as something that just said, hey, check this out. Because you watch this, maybe you'd be interested in that. Although I don't watch funny, quirky
It's
things.
funny. You watched something funny?
Yes.
Oh, God. Did you laugh? You're talking about it.
Slightly. I mean, but it was good. I personally liked it.
I was
but
say, is this your watch it or not? But no,
No,
you actually like it.
I actually liked it, but I don't know why I even watched it in the first place. But it is called We Have a Ghost on Netflix.
Okay, yeah, I've heard about that. I tried to get into it and I couldn't get past
Because it's stupid.
It's very stupid.
It's so stupid. And I
it's
never
dumb.
watch stupid comedy, but there I was. Yeah. So you have Anthony Mackie. He plays Frank Presley, and he is the guy who plays on all the Marvel movies.
He
plays
Falcon.
the Falcon.
Yes.
So if you want to put that in perspective, you have David Harbour who plays Ernest, and David Harbour is the guy who is on Stranger Things. So he is the police chief or the sheriff or whatever on Stranger Things with Winona Ryder, and they used to date and things like that. So everybody's kind of familiar with him. You have Niles Fitch, who plays Anthony Mackie's son, Fulton Presley. He actually was on This Is Us. So when you think of Randall and Sterling Smith's character, or Sterling K. Brown, what's his name? Sterling K. Brown, I think. Anyway, with his character, he actually plays the middle teenage version of Randall. So just to put that in perspective, you'd have Taha Diallo Winston playing Kevin Presley. That's the other son of Anthony Mackie's character. And Erica Ash is playing Melanie Presley. So they're a family that moves into this house, basically. And then you have David Harbour as being a ghost in that house called Ernest. And you have Tig Notaro, who is a comedian, and she plays.
I love Tig Notaro.
Yeah, she's funny. So she plays she's not an agent, She is a person who is a ghost chaser, I guess is the best way to say it. But like the FBI or whoever kind of works with her and partners with her from time to time. And then you have the amazing and wonderful Jennifer Coolidge, who is also in this, which I don't know if a lot of people know if you don't watch the preview for it. But
she's on it.
Yeah. But she's in it too. So anyway, it is a story of this family who's looking to buy a home. And so they ended up coming into this house. And, let me even start before that. The very first scene is the movie starting with literal screaming. And it's showing the house from the street where people are running out. They're leaving the front door open. They're jumping in the car. They're just taking off. And they were just so scared by whatever ghost is in this house that they just took off, left, hit the mailbox on the way out, like the whole 9 yards. And so then it shows the front door close on its own and all the lights that were on in the house goes off. Yeah. So you're just like, okay. Then it changes to the house being now sold and this African-American family is moving in. So it's the wife, the husband, and the 2 kids. It's a rundown house, pretty much a dump. They get it for a great price. They're planning to fix it up. And the youngest son goes up into the attic to just look around, see what he can see. And he sees a ghost who appears. I
can't remember. Was he the one that didn't want to move? He was the one.
Yeah, he was like...
He didn't care. He was in the car the whole time, right?
Right. He was still sitting in the car while everybody else is going through the house. And he's just like, ugh. So he finally comes in. He goes upstairs. He comes across this ghost. And the ghost has a shirt on that says Ernest on it. Yeah. So he looks and he was like, hey. And he's like recording and all of this. And the ghost shows up on the recording, like the whole 9 yards. So he's talking to him. And the ghost is looking like, me? Like how do you even see me? Yeah. Like, how is that even possible?
But then also he's like, but you're not scared?
No, right, exactly. Like, why? He was like, do you know my life? Like, why would I be scared of you? Like, my life is much more frightening than seeing you as a ghost. Exactly. And so, therefore, he actually, the ghost can't speak. So the ghost just like moans, basically, because I guess that's what ghosts do, but he doesn't speak. And he basically is somebody who you can walk through, he can sit on things, but then sometimes he can go through things. Like, I guess he can choose and control, like, if I'm more of a solid form or if I'm more of a see-through form or something like that. But for the most part, it ends up being that the boy and the ghost actually kind of become friends, you know? And so he ends up, they kind of end up with this friendship to the point that the boy's brother comes in, sees the ghost, realizes his brother has this ghost on video. They tell the father. The father wants to monetize it. Mm-hmm. Like, he's basically like, how do we get this on the internet?
Yeah, because he wants the quick, fast popularity and
the quick buck. Yeah. Exactly. So how can we make this a money grab, so to speak? And so with the video getting out, all these people start showing up at the house. The wife still doesn't even know really what's going on. She walks into the attic, walks right through Ernest, turns around, looks, sees him, and screams bloody murder to the point that they put that on the internet too for some reason. And so then it becomes a meme where everybody's like, like all this kind of stuff and everything. So it's crazy. Exactly. And so then they have where it's on everything. It's all over social media, even gets on Dr. Phil's program, and they're talking about Ernest on there. So he's like a cult classic. He has fans and followers and people who are like coming to the windows to try to see him. So the kid tries to figure out how to find out who Ernest is. And that's kind of where the story all kind of unfolds, is that, okay, we have this ghost. Yeah.
We're trying to figure out what's going on because he can't talk to us.
He can't talk to us. So he has this shirt on called Ernest. Let's look and see if we can find out who Ernest is. Is he really Ernest or is he somebody else? And then how did he die? Because he's here potentially because of the fact that there's some things that are not closed. Yeah. And so therefore it's like a purgatory for him. So how do we help him to cross over to the other side, basically? And so the ghost is very appreciative of them trying to do all these things. And in the process of doing that, it ends up being that Jennifer Coolidge comes by because she has a kind of ghost chasing TV show, I guess you could say, which it doesn't even seem like she even believes in. But
it's just for her to be popular.
Right, exactly. So she's there being Jennifer Coolidge, just, extreme and all makeup up and hair teased and the whole 9 yards. She has the cameras and they're just like, okay, call Ernest down. So the father's sitting there with her and being interviewed, and it's like, well, call down Ernest. Let's see, have a look at Ernest. And he's trying for Ernest. He's trying for, like, and the son basically told Ernest to overdo it.
Yeah, he was just like, hey, give him a show.
Give him a show. Give him a show. And when I say give him a show, I mean, it was insanity, the show that he gave, to the point that people were throwing up. People were mortified, scared. His skin melted off of his body. Jennifer Coolidge at first was just like, whatever, like, I'm not even paying any attention.
Was it scream in her face or something like that?
Yeah, he got in her face, and then she lost it. And that was pretty funny. So that I did actually laugh out loud about. But for the most part, though, it's a cute story about friendship between a young boy and a ghost. Yeah. And basically, trying to figure out how he died. How can he transfer over? Definitely some comical parts in there, but also some serious and touching, heartwarming parts. Like, did he have a family? If so, what does his family think about what was going on? Did he die in that house, or did he die somewhere else, but that's just where his soul was trapped, but maybe that's where he was born, whatever the case may be. So it was so many different moving parts to it, but it was a really cute show. It's not a long watch. Maybe, I can't remember if it was an hour and 20 or hour and 30 minutes, something like that, but it is a movie that, is on Netflix. Again, We Have a Ghost. So, it was pretty... It was silly. I mean, but
it was cute. It's cute. Yeah, it's a family movie.
It is a family movie.
But I would say it would be like that family movie where you have like the preteens up to
because I feel like there was profanity in there.
Yeah, there's some profanity in there, but then also like kids a little younger, they probably wouldn't want to see a ghost in a house.
Yeah, exactly.
And when they see that at first, they're not going to want to watch the rest of the movie.
And then the part where he was trying to scare people could be a bit much for some kids, but but it was a really cute movie. So that's it this week for Sestra-Tainment. We hope everybody has a wonderful upcoming week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.